We are back. I really hope you guys had a really lovely Christmas, and I am back filming. I really want to start YouTube again and post weekly, so make sure you comment down below what videos you want to see next. But I'm doing unpopular opinions that you guys have that I took from my TikTok, so then we can see and I can react to them. So I wrote a few down. I've got my notes, and let's just get started. And I'm gonna pop the names. First one, ice dancing is the most entertaining discipline in figure skating, and it's better than pairs. I haven't been watching ice dancing. The only show that I really want to watch is Ледниковый период. It's the Russian version of like Dancing with the Stars, or Dancing on Ice, really. And because I want to watch that because Dina and Arina are on there, so I want to watch it because the villains are on there. But I don't think that counts. So I've never actually watched ice dancing before, so I can't really comment. But I have watched pairs and I love the tricks. And I know this person doesn't like the tricks because it scares them, but I just love it. And I think the danger perspective, I think I would have preferred pairs rather than ice dancing, but to each their own. Okay, second one. Athleticism is the reason why a few girls are known without her. Without her, they wouldn't be known as much as it pains for me to say that I hate Athleticism. So this person doesn't really like Athleticism, which Athleticism is a controversial figure in general, so you either like her or hate her. I personally like her in a sense that she does raises champions. Her methods can be a bit questionable at times, but I do think ultimately to stay ahead, you have to implement quite strong techniques. I think it's very much true. Without her and the success of her training, those girls, Kamila Valieva, Trusova, Alina, Yevgenia, wouldn't be known. And I think Adeli is definitely the person that really rose female figure skating, because figure skating was such a niche, like barely anybody knew about it. It was always mostly men. Nobody thought that women can compete quad jumps, and now they are pushing it, and I think it's just amazing. And I think Adeli has definitely paved the way for figure skating. The Russians being gone doesn't stop the overscoring. It lessens it, but still doesn't stop it. So this person is talking about how the scoring system, when the Russians came to competitions, they were overscored. I don't think they were overscored. I think the Russians, because of their high technique, they had a significant score compared to the next person, because they weren't competing those quad jumps, those triple jumps. They were doing the standard, whereas the Russians really brought in the level of difficulty. And I think that's why it was such a high scores that they were getting compared to people that were getting significantly lower. And so then I think from the viewer's viewpoint, it was considered that they were overscored, but I don't think they were, because these judges are international, so why would they want to overscore the Russians? If anything, they want to underscore it, so the Russians and other countries couldn't be able to compete. No Russians deserved the gold, and I think that they were referring to maybe when the Russians were still competing Europeans, World, or the Olympics. For me, I think they deserve the gold and much more. The amount of effort, the amount of hard work that these children do, they only focus on the sport. They have to sacrifice everything. And I think the training methods, the technique, the quad jumps, the amount of tears, the amount of blood, sweat and tears is just insane. And I really think that they all deserve the gold. I think they definitely deserve the gold. If anything, they deserved even more. Alina had a better choreography and a better program than Yevgenia, but Yevgenia executed and complemented hers better. I do think that actually is quite true, and I do really agree with this opinion, because Alina's, I think, having her routine, what really stood out and the reason why she even won this Olympics season is because in the first program she barely had any jumps. All her jumps were put into the second program. into the second part of her routine. And putting her jumps onto the second part makes it difficult because you're firstly tired, you don't have as much speed, and it's much harder to rotate because you have a lack of energy. So by her having all her jumps basically in the second half makes it even difficult, so the judges have to overscore her. I think definitely her choreography was much more, more competitive than Yevgenia's. I think she was more flexible. The only thing is she was not as consistent as Yevgenia. Zhenya would be winning all of this because of her consistency, and she could be able to express that emotion. If you compare Alina's to Yevgenia's, you can definitely see the emotion in Zhenya's routine. People forget that artistry is an interpretation and not a fact. Artistry is a personal preference. I think artistry is quite difficult because if you think about other sports such as ballet or dance, they also use a lot of artistry, but they're not considered an Olympic sport, whereas figure skating or rhythmic gymnastics are. And artistry is very personal because there's no right or wrong. It's sort of, the judges see if they like the concept, if they like the idea, they will score high. If they don't really personally connect to it, they will score low. And that is why ballet and dance are not really considered sports. They're more of an art form, and they can't be scored or judged because people are going to have a difference of opinion. I think it is very much hard on that scoring system because it is kind of personal, because if you don't like that athlete, you can score lower. It just depends. Artistry doesn't have a specific right or wrong. For example, in a jump, if you do something technically wrong, then that deducts your points. If you fall, that's a deductive point. People already know, so even the audience can connect to that. But with artistry, it's very wishy-washy, and the audience don't really know what specific score, and the judges have difference of opinion. So the scores can be very much different. And I think if you think about Kamila Valieva, she puts in a lot of artistry. You can see that emotion, and that's why she scores very high points. Not necessarily on the technique, even though her technique is excellent and extraordinary, her artistry is just as good. And I think that's it for a wrap. If you want a part 2, make sure you comment down below your unpopular opinions, and I will react to them and discuss them. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you for the next video.